Hey, welcome to the Baco Motorsports Power Hour. I'm Mike Griffith, Californian motorsports rider, and I survived the eclipse. And I was back in Nashville, went totally dark, and I even survived. I've got Scott Schweitzer from Bakersfield Speedway with me. Wasn't totally dark here in Bakersfield, but you survived.
Yeah, we survived it. It's pretty cool experience, and yeah, we survived the eclipse. So.
Yeah, Nashville was really close, really crowded for eclipse because it's the biggest metropolitan area in the United States. That was going to have the total eclipse, and so it was a zoo in Nashville. But Nashville's a fun town, so.
Yeah, I was watching on CNN. It looked like it was a zoo in any town that it was going to get total dark. They was having parties, just a reason to get together.
Yeah, a reason to get together, and that's what we did back there. My daughter lives in Nashville, so went back there, visited her, saw the eclipse, and came back last night just for the Power Hour show.
Yeah.
Dedication.
Yeah, it's dedication. Can't miss the Power
dedication.
Hour.
Can't miss the dedication. And there we'll leave it on this 43 slide for a minute, Chris, because that's perfect timing. Because Derek Thorne was down at Irwindale for the Spears SRL Southwest Tour race, probably the last Southwest Tour race in Irwindale, because the track operators have been told that they're done. Their contract's up in January, and I guess they're going to turn it into something else, which has been talked about for years. But anyway, Derek Thorne went down there and got the win. Interesting, qualified number one. He always qualifies well. He's tough track for him to win at down at Irwindale, but he got the win, beat Trevor Huddleston, who's interestingly enough leading points in the late model division out at KCRP. But he got the win. He entered the race like 32 points behind, I think, Bobby Hodges, and a couple more, 30-some points behind Blaine Rocha. Well, Thorne wins. Those guys finished 20th and 25th, respectively. In one race, he's the points leader. That's how quickly it switches.
Man.
By double-digit points.
Good weekend for Derek Thorne.
So absolutely. I say that's a good weekend for Derek Thorne, so congratulations on that. And so now that puts him in title for he's the front runner now for his fourth SRL Southwest Tour Championship. So good run for Derek out there at Irwindale. And, he'll probably going to be on the Fast Trip All-Area team. We're going to have that announced. We're going to do that in December. Going to be the fourth annual one. And so Clint Reichenbach just got his third win. He got it he had a good night out at the dirt track, I guess, on Friday night out at KCRP. Not such a good night at your track.
No, when you stack 24 sport mods out there and you don't have a good heat race, like unfortunately he didn't, that's what happens. So.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that later.
More coming up. But I just want to mention that's that was his third win, so that qualifies him. So I saw that. So he's in. So a good deal for that. And speaking of threes, when you go 1, 2, 3 in a races, or you go 1, 2, 3, 4 in a championship series.
Yeah, it's the sweep.
It's the sweep.
Yeah.
And there's a big faction of fans out there across the nation that don't particularly care for, look, it's Kyle Busch, and this is Wednesday night at Bristol Motor Speedway. And he's got the big victory knife out there, or sword, or whatever, that thing looking dangerous. Hopefully it was plastic. But so he got the Camping World Truck Series, and some people think he's poaching there, and it's not much fun, and there's all kinds of, they're going to cut the number of races he can run in next year, and so he's not happy about that. But there it is with the win. And then comes Friday night at Bristol, and there's an Xfinity Series race, and he's kind of getting ready there in Victory Lane, and he's giving the fans what for and stuff. And so another win and here it is.
With the broom.
Saturday night, the Cup race, and there's the sweep. And I was in Nashville. I wasn't watching the race. I'll be honest here. But I'm hearing from the social media posts, the chorus of boos was resounding, and of course he did his bow, and he just eats it up and says,
he just antagonizes him.
Antagonizes him, plays along, does the bow, sweeps, says, let me hear it more, and gets the thing. But a pretty cool thing, his wife posted a video that I happened to see on one of the social media sites, because they were leaving. I guess maybe they stayed the next day, and they're leaving to drive, and here's this empty, and it's in the morning, and you can tell it's a campsite, and they're flying the American flag, and underneath is a big 18 flag. So he stops, and she shows this video. He gets out, and he stands in the seat and on the door. He gets the flag, and he's personally signing the flag and not a peep coming from these campers. They're probably not going to wake up until another 6 hours.
I'm sure they had a few too many
They probably
adult
had
beverages.
Probably, but
Yeah.
that shows that he does care about it. If he saw the Bush flag in the 18 and he stopped and signed it, those people are going to have a pretty good souvenir.
Yeah, I don't know why there's such this mystique of not liking Bush, but I mean the guy's a great driver, and it just shows in things like that. And he's done other things where he's signed autographs or pulled up next to people in the traffic jam on Twitter and stuff, and does stuff. Good guy, for whatever reason he carries the banner. I guess they don't like a guy that can dominate, and that's what he's doing. So
yeah, so he dominated that. We have a few pictures from the race at the start of the race, and there's Bristol. You got to love the big banking there and the tight confines. A pretty good shot there. Not a sellout, but a pretty decent crowd, it looked like.
Yeah, it looks better than it has in the past, so that's good to see.
Because years ago, you could not get a ticket for a night race.
Yeah, I think back in 2003, I actually went to Bristol, Tennessee, and for the Cup race, and it was packed, shoulder to shoulder. I mean, could barely get into that place. Took us 4 hours to leave the traffic, but so it's good to see the crowd starting to come back.
You got that, and we got the had a picture of Kevin Harvick there. And, of course, there's the victory burnout, and there's some other great photos that you can find on social media, of course, in the bowing to the crowd and whatnot. So you got that. And Kevin Harvick with an 8th-place finish there at Bristol. Not the best finish, but he qualified horribly. I think he was 27th or 29th, if I remember. And so, hey, the car was in one piece. He got home, and there it is. But here's the points. It's the playoff points. Martin Truex Jr. with 35. He's leading the points. He may have locked it up. I think he locked it up. So basically that's 50 points. Kyle Larson with 18. Kyle Busch is going to finish second in points, so there's another 10 bonus points there. So he's really got 30 at the end of the season at least. There's 2 more races. Jimmy Johnson with 16. Brad with 14. Brad Keselowski. And then Kevin Harvick has 8. Leave it there for a second, Chris. I just want to talk about Brad Keselowski. Other news I saw while I was back in Nashville, Brad's called no more on his two truck Camping World Truck Series team. He's pulled the plug on that after this year. So there'll be a lot of people without jobs, drivers without things, and basically he's losing $1 million plus a year.
Right.
And he's been doing it, and I don't know if he doesn't race that many truck races, but he raises a handful, and it's near and dear to him because that's where he got his start.
Yeah, I read an article on it, and he did. He's very passionate about it, and he's really involved in helping NASCAR bring up-and-coming drivers into the series. But, I mean, the bottom line is it comes down to a money issue. It's a business, and obviously, he's not going to race forever and doesn't want to throw all of his money away at it. So it's a shame to lose another top-caliber team like that, and hopefully that, it's not the start of something where we see more and more teams.
Yeah, you see more
These
and more.
guys
I'd say
pull out.
To me, it's a bit of a warning sign for sure.
Yeah, definitely an eye-opener.
You got that, and then I read another story about there's a lot of inventory left, and inventory be ad space on Cup cars for next year. So there's a lot of space available, and the cost is going down, which affects these teams because they're used to so much advertising, and they're not getting what they used to get, and they're not getting as many people knocking on their doors. So it's tough times right now.
And to me, I think that's where they need to look back, where Kevin Harvick made that statement on his Sirius satellite show, where take the truck series back to these grassroots racetracks, in these small hometowns that, and NASCAR help these tracks get their tracks up to speed where they can hold truck races and put 8 to 10,000 people in these facilities and watch it.
But if it costs you $500,000 for a truck race as a promoter.
No, I know, but I mean that's where
you can seat 10,000 people.
But that's where NASCAR has to reevaluate it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That or they're gonna if this is a start of a trend of what's happening with Harvick got rid of his team, Keselowski, Kyle Busch has already made the threat that he would pull the plug on his team. I mean, if this is something that's going to continue, I mean, if NASCAR wants to keep the truck series, maybe they need to look at something like that take it back to grassroots places and different venues and spark the series back up.
Yeah, it's just a bit of I'd call it a warning sign.
Yeah.
At least something to be concerned about.
And not
We can
even
see what's gonna
televise
go.
them. I mean, they don't have to, the money and televise. I mean, bring them to these Friday night, Saturday night, local short tracks that
Well,
can,
you need the television for the sponsors.
yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
you know what I
To-
mean? Just
yeah.
to try to lower that cost. I mean, they definitely need to get to work and look at something and try to figure it out before it's.
But you can't
something
bring it to
about-
some short tracks like KCRP because they don't have soft walls.
No, and that's where, and
another-
Harvick made that point that, maybe NASCAR needs to help invest in some of these tracks and help them to make it affordable and help them with that to do something. But,
We'll see where that goes. Interesting times in NASCAR. Ryan Reed, the Bristol, the Xfinity Series, a horrible day. I guess he tried to go 3 wide at one time. Ended up with a cut tire. Got a cut tire, ended up in the wall. That ended his day. So he's not having a good run toward the playoffs right now. However, at Darlington this week, he's going to be in the old Alan Kawicki type of colors. So Alan
throwback
Kawicki
paint
was
scheme.
throwback
Nice.
paint. And interestingly, I saw Alan Kawicki win his first ever Cup race at Phoenix in 1988.
Wow. Interesting.
Was having dinner on Saturday night with a bunch of people the night before, and he came by our table and said hi and stuff. And the next day he won. I'll never
Cool.
forget that.
Nice.
That's where the Polish victory lap started.
Yeah.
Went backwards around there, so something I'll never forget. William Bryan, 17 points, leads the playoff points. In Xfinity Series, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Reed with his win 5, Elliott Sadler with 5, but he's going to get 15 more for winning the series, so he's going to have 20 there. And William Bryan's going to get 10 points. NHRA, Alexis DeJoria won in Funny Car, her first win in more than a year. She was
Wow.
very, very pleased, and rightfully so. That team, she missed a lot of races this season, 3 or 4 races for personal reasons. Hasn't been doing anything, been going out in first round, second round, and they found it, got all the way. And Tommy Johnson Jr., another final, another runner-up finish for him. I'm starting to feel sorry for him in the Make-A-Wish car.
But I bet there was a lot of Patron flowing in Alexis' pit if it's been that over a year since she won.
I think so. And it was a weekend for the lady drivers. Leah Pritchett, who was on fire to start the season, then wasn't doing anything, beat Anton Brown.
She's a tough racer.
Yep. And we got Tanner Gray here, won in pro stock, 18 years old, so he's a top racer. And Jerry Savoy, the Louisiana alligator farmer, won in pro stock bike, and a great shot there. And then I think we got a shot of all of them happy. And one last thing before we get out of here, before our next segment, K&N Pro Series West is up in Douglas County Speedway in Oregon Saturday night. Buddy Shepard's going to be in his first race of the year, and that's going to be in the Jefferson Pitts Motorsports car.
Nice.
Blaine Perkins from Bakersfield be in that, and Todd Gilliland, 5 wins, leads teammate Chris Eggleston 4 wins by 2 points with 3 races left. So
Gonna be a tough battle.
tough battle there. So we'll be back in a minute, talk more about Bakersfield Speedway, see what's going on out there at that dirt track.